It's a me, Neko-mi, and I probably post this video around Christmas time, so Merry Christmas. Assume a lot of you guys out there probably during Christmas time will travel somewhere abroad with your family or something, and whenever you go ahead and travel, usually by plane, you guys probably need to use something called a passport. Because of this, we're doing a Reddit review of r/passport porn, of showcasing the passports of different parts of the world, and hope you enjoy. Now, we have someone who somehow managed to lost their Canadian passport in Kosovo, and they somehow have this. Which you may ask, how come I understand why they have an emergency passport, but somehow it's from the UK. Well, that's mostly because of the part of Commonwealth, so the UK basically helps out Canada as well. In terms of that, my advice to the OP is go back home as fast as possible and grant your new passport. Next story. One time at the airport closed and they issued me a visa to kick me out of the airport, and it seems that it's part of Japan, I believe. I thought I was gonna get a 12-hour layover chilling at the airport. Turned out they closed the airport at that night, and I had no visa, so they issued me a visa, mostly only for flight attendants and pilots, so I can get out of the custom. It was fun though. I took a bus to the city, took a dump at the park's toilet, ate ramen, and went back to the airport with an Austrian man, since I don't know how to get back. I assume he went to Tokyo. Well, this is the first time I heard like the Tokyo airport actually closes. Yeah, I think keep that in mind next time if you go to Japan. North Korean diplomatic passport spotted in the wild. Like what are the chances, bro? Like North Korea, really? And also it's a diplomatic one. Jeez. Just got this beauty. And this guy seems to got his new Saint Kitts and Nevis passport. And I assume that this is one of those schemes where you can like invest in a country to get their own citizenship, you know, citizenship by investments. And I guess congratulations and good for you. I want the spawn location lottery, not. Bro is a full-time refugee.
My mom is kind of homeless. I live with my dad. I want to help her out.
Speed, I'm watching the stream while you try not to laugh, bro. That's disrespectful.
Can't even enter my own country, Lamau. How can you not like enter your own country? Oh. This is my great-grandfather's Palestinian oh. And it's even older than Israel. How unfair life could be. Both my friend and I are Palestinians. Our family originated from the same village near Beersheba. After the 1967 war, my father's family was displaced to Gaza, while he ended up in Haifa. Now, nearly 60 years later, that historical split continues to shape our lives despite having stronger academics, better English scores, and prepared for over 6 months. I got stuck in visa limbo because of my passport. Meanwhile, my friend received his student visa in just 5 days. Same roots, same dreams, completely different realities. Despite everything, I'm still proud of it though. Before moving on, please just give me a couple seconds. I can't believe. I don't really like to talk about these things, you know, on the channel, but sometimes you just have to, you know. And what better way to show what I was supposed to talk about other than, oh well. I guess this is the best I could do, you know. Well, I guess we'll just continue with this, I guess. Where were we? Let's just continue. So there's this person, right? He said he was born stateless in Ireland, so I'm an Irish citizen by birthright. My story is kind of complicated. I was born in Ireland to a Syrian mother and an American father. My mother left for Syria for a better life since Syrian Christians had limited civil and political freedom. Women are not allowed to pass down citizenship to their children, so I was not entitled to Syrian citizenship. My father was born and raised in the US until the age of 12 when him and his family moved to Japan for work-related reasons. He lived in Japan until he was 19 and went to an international school, so he wasn't completely fluent in Japanese, since they are taught in English at school. He never naturalized. He moved to Germany for his degree since he had become proficient in German in school, but didn't end up taking long enough to become a German citizen. He moved back to the US for 1 year, but had a hard time finding work and ultimately decided to leave again and settle in Ireland. I don't remember why Ireland specifically though. A child born abroad to one U.S. citizen parent can only get citizenship at birth if the parent reside in the U.S. for 5 years, 2 of which had to have been after the age of 14. My father didn't meet these conditions, and thus I wasn't entitled to American citizenship. By the time I was born, which is like 2 years after mine, Ireland had gotten rid of birthright citizenships unless the parents had met residency type requirements or if the child wasn't entitled to any other citizenships, which is your case. Neither of my parents had lived in Ireland long enough when I was born, and so I was born stateless and was then considered an Irish citizen at birth. My parents are now both Irish citizens, and I'm using the benefits of Irish citizenship to study in the UK. I wanted to study in France, but French wasn't good enough to study physics. Even though my mother speaks French, but like I never really reached her fluency level. I grew up speaking English, Arabic, some Irish, and a bit of French and German. Wow. You know, I've actually like heard cases of like people without or being stateless having like, because like everyone's kind of like having these defaults, like not having like sort of the default to cause some trouble, if you know what I mean. It's kind of like being homeless in a way, like you just like slip into cracks in the system, you know, and no one barely even like bother to find you back. But I'm lucky you become Irish though, you know. Yeah, good for you. My colleagues and I took an unusual group photo, in which we have a British, a Senegalese one, a South African, a Seychelles, that's rare, that's an island nation in Africa. Another South Africa, Spain, Trinidad and Tobago, that's another rare one. Armenia, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Vietnam, and Ireland. Yeah, where do you even work to have these all? Like, I'm kind of wondering in what working environment do you have all of these? Guess which one I use most often? We have the American and the United Nations Universal Passport. And obviously this is like one of the rare cases people who work for the UN has to have one of these. And people ask like what are they gonna use the UN for? And they say like can you use like UN passport to travel places for yourself? Unfortunately it is work related only. So yeah, I know guys, like every time you guys see a symbol like these, you guys really wanted to click out of this video and dislike and unsubscribe and even try to cancel me, or even like YouTube having like problems with me. But I think the reason why I still want to put this one here is because it will be best if we acknowledge the fact that bad things happen instead of just not talking about it at all. And which is especially true for this one, because this one is actually belong to someone's grandmother, who's actually Jewish, and she used this to escape from the Nazi regime. And they say that both of his father's parents were Jewish and grew up in Germany since the 1930s. My grandmother, who has this thing, came from an extremely wealthy and political family, which meant that many of her relatives were used directly as examples of the problems that the Nazis portrayed in Germany. Because of this, a huge portion of my ancestors were outright murdered or taken into concentration camps, and she and her mother spent or abandoned all of her assets in order to escape on a ship to El Salvador. This is one of the few remaining reminders we have of their lives there and my family history. Now, there's actually a silver lining to this, simply because actually, you can actually have German citizenship from that. Yes, guys, if you are descended from a Holocaust survivor, you can have a German passport. Well, as a German myself, I always get quite emotional about descendants from refugees of the Nazi regime obtaining their rightful citizenship. It's not a given that after everything your family had to suffer through at the hands of the German government, at that time, you still want to have anything to do with the country. I'm grateful you're giving us another chance. I hope the process isn't too difficult. You know, bad things do happen, and it will continue to happen. But like at least that this family can receive some sort of closure after many years. You know, I found this on the ground in Amsterdam, so it appears to be a Kazakh passport. This is the first time I've seen a Kazakh passport. Hope it gets better to the rightful owner. Have you reported it to the police? Someone asked, and he obviously did.
Great success.
But on serious, like personally, if I ever like I find a lost passport in the wild, the good news is that I right now in the middle of London, and pretty much my university is near an area where there are a lot of embassies concentrated in. So if I ever find a lost one, I will just go Google, find the nearest whatever embassy that thing is, and just head it there. Yeah, the only reason, like, the police for me is kind of like the second option. Like, so if you find like one of those lost passports, either hand it to an embassy or a consulate, the nearest consulate of whatever country or of origin that the passport is in, and if you don't want to bother doing that, you just call the police. Yeah. Kenyan visa nationality. What? So yeah, it says his nationality is somehow corrected, and the reason behind this is simply because he visited the Kenyan embassy in Tokyo and wasn't really expecting a Brit to apply, so because all their visa stickers has Japanese printed in the nationality field, so they have to use correction tape and rewrite the British on mine. And I just kind of hope that the Kenyan immigration would actually approve this. I hope it doesn't look sus. Yeah, I just hope you can like safely go through. And there are like other cases of like visa correction. I asked my local Vietnamese embassy for a B2, not a B1. They said okay and returned after 60 seconds with a visa endorsed B1. I said 8 wanted a B2, so the consulate guys wrote a 2 in the pen over the 1 in Hanoi. It was not a problem, sounds weird, but I think it was because it was all digitized anyway. Oh well. No offense to the folks over there, but perhaps they're just super nonchalant, careless, and don't give a damn about work. I've had an issue with the Vietnamese e-visa too. I applied online, received the approval letter, but included the personal details of 4 other people, including their dates of birth, full legal names, nationalities, and passport numbers. Vietnam, yeah. My brother received his French residence permit, and instead of having nationality as Libya, it was Lebanon. When he went back in to have it sent back and get a new one, the official said, "It's okay, it's the same thing." He had to almost fight with them, and the director of the office had to come out and scold them to replace it. Wow!
Animal qui vit parmi nous.
Étranger? Non, merci, faut pas, non.
Anyways, insane Oceania combo captured at the airport of the passenger permission. We have a Marshall Islands passport and a Vanuatu passport. Those are like 2 island nations. So no one really expect to like see something like this. I struck gold. You managed to have a Madagascar diplomatic passport, a Mexican diplomatic passport, a Thai diplomatic passport, an Andorran diplomatic passport. Wait, no, it's just a regular passport, thank God. And a diplomatic passport from San Marino. And somehow you have diplomatic passports of 3 different European micronations. Not only that, they even gave us more. They even have a Colombian diplomatic passport, a Greek one, an Indian one. I don't know what that is, but I assume it's Paraguay. By the looks of things. We have, what's this? Kazakh, I believe. Yeah, it's Kazakhstan passport. We have, what's this one? This is kind of hard to tell. Singaporean, I believe. Wait, no, that's Malaysian. Oh, okay. It's a bit hard to tell. Mongolian diplomatic passport, and finally a Singaporean one. How do you end up with this situation? So it was a 1-week program for young diplomats. Wait, what? They have for all diplomats? That's like the whole world diplomats. They even have the sovereign. Wait, hold up. I need to go look this up because the full name of it. I know this one because like this is like one of those countries that doesn't really have land. It's a weird case. It is the Sovereign Military Order of Malta passport. How? You're one lucky guy. Taking at Pakistan departures at the land border with Afghanistan, cameraman stamps passport and an officer strolls it into the crowd. I crossed the border there. They gave us a police officer to accompany us. He just shoved and punched his way through the crowd and got us to the front. It somehow was still more organized than the Afghan side. Huh? Just 2 women on a plane from Newark to Washington. Here's the translated story. A few years ago, I sat next to this woman on a plane from Newark to Washington. We talk about our jobs. She's an engineer, our white stories, and our kids. We're each at F2, and what we were watching on Netflix. We both like friends somehow. Then she asked where I was born from, and I told her. I recognized her accent, but I asked anyway where she was from, and she told me. And we laughed and shook hands and took pictures of our passports to remember that we had met, and it was lovely. Hope she's okay wherever she is. Damn, one of them is committing a genocide and the other one is making weapons of mass destruction. Wow. Finally, I want to end this video by showing the most powerful passport of them all. Imperial passport, one of 2 known Kublai Khan passport reading. I am the emissary of the Khan. If you defy me, you die.